Yes. Mhm. You know, I spent quite a bit of time on this. Right. The layers of the atmosphere. But they make this statement that the stratosphere extends to the tropopause, to about 30 miles above Earth's surface. Right. This is the top of it, 10 miles up. Right. And often airline pilots on large jets prefer to fly in the stratosphere to stay above the weather disturbances of the troposphere. Yes. But they have what's known as the ozone layer. Mm. Isn't that what's causing global warming? They got a problem in the ozone? Yes. Yes. What's the weight of the ozone layer? Oh, did somebody? Well, we've been having a little hurricane problem, and I've been trying to fix that. Yes. And this ozone layer, see, they talk about the cold temperatures, right? Now, I was trying to guesstimate, yes, the troposphere decreases 3.5 degrees Fahrenheit for every 1,000 feet. Yeah. Now, I've been in enough airplanes to know that most of them fly at 36,000 feet. Yeah. And if you heat salt water to approximately 2,500 to 3,000 degrees and the salt is removed, exactly how fast does steam rise? Because I could be wrong. Okay. I thought all of the ice was up here. Yes. At approximately minus 80 degrees Celsius. Now I know. You were thinking, nope, it's not going to freeze at that temperature. No, no, no. It'll go right through this because it's too hot and it'll end up here where it's almost above freezing. Now, this ozone layer, yes, just reading it because I read it multiple times. It says coldest part of the top, the tropopause, yes, is approximately minus 50 to 80 degrees Celsius, yes, minus 32 degrees Fahrenheit, or is it 32 degrees? Well, as I understood, freezing was at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Yes. The air is so cold that the clouds can only exist as ice. Now, there's some reason why I'm not, well, kind of putting a seal, yes, on the ozone layer at different locations. Yes. Could somebody go through the actual weight of the ozone layer? Now, what's really weird, okay, because if you really read this, yeah, the sun, right, ozone heats the air by absorbing the sun's ultraviolet rays. The stratosphere contains most of the atmosphere's ozone, right here. Yes. But the ozone heats the air by absorbing the sun's ultraviolet rays. Now, let's say you had a large amount of ozone. It weighs approximately 1.5 ounces every square foot. Yes. But it absorbs the sun's ultraviolet rays, causing global warming. Now, well, how can the sun get through such cold temperatures and still cause the planet to heat up? You would think it'd make it cold. Yeah. Like there's the big sun, right? Okay. It's way out here someplace. Sunlight's going through it. Okay. It hits minus 80 degrees and it's cold sunlight. Yes. It's freezing cold. Why? No, really think about it. How can global warming be taking place where the sun is causing an increase in the actual warmth of the atmosphere? The tropopause, right, where we're experiencing all these problems. Yeah, right. Without actually warming the ozone layer that happens to be above minus 80 degrees Celsius. How can the sun be so hot on planet Earth when it's so cold up there? I don't know. Now, is the sunlight that's going through? Okay, 600 degrees Celsius. Good question. Okay. Goes through the mesopause? Yes, minus 113 degrees Celsius. Yes. It doesn't cool it down any? Then it heats back up to 28 degrees Fahrenheit, almost above freezing. Yes. And then it hits minus 112 degrees Fahrenheit, and it hits us at 120 degrees. Yes. How's Is there some reason why the sun, yes, is causing the global warming? Because of an increase in the actual temperature of the land without the ozone layer, yes, the mesopause, right, cooling the. Now, I know. Let's say you had some steam. Yes. Can you give me the actual rate of it rising? Yes. And what temperatures would be necessary to cause an increase in the amount of ice below the ozone layer so that the sunlight would be colder on the actual land of the world? You're gonna cool down the. Well, we have this global warming problem. You remember that? I said you can't cool down the land without increasing the amount of ice. Yes, below. I mean, is exactly how hot would now? Is there a solution to global warming? Yes. Give me the weight of the ozone layer, and when you're up there in an airplane, yes, approximately 36,000 feet, and you now. I thought it was really important. Okay. Now, let's see here. The study of air. Oh. Now, the thermosphere. Yes. Exposed to the sun's ultraviolet radiation, which heats the thin air to extremely high temperatures. Yes. Approximately 1100 degrees Fahrenheit during periods of peak solar activity. Now, I did read in here someplace where the equator has the greatest amount of ice. Where did I read that at? Now, I thought we should increase the amount of ice around the equator, yes, to cool down the sun, but I could be wrong because they have air cleaners in here. There's no possible way Earth's atmosphere. The air temperature can drop below minus 200 degrees Fahrenheit during the summer. Yes. Strong winds, extremely slow. It says something about the equator. Oh, called ions, the aurora borealis. Yeah. Earth released such gases, ammonia, so on and so forth. Earth's atmosphere, additional gases. 2.4 billion years ago. Yes. Um, nope. I don't. I did read it. Yes. But could somebody look at the ozone above the equator? Yes. There's some reason why there's it was in here. Why don't you give me the weight of the ozone above the equator? Did anybody mess with any gravity, thinking they would add weight to the land without realizing that you added weight to the actual air? Oh, the chief greenhouse gases, methane and carbon dioxide, the greenhouse effect, CFCs. Yeah. Now, types of air cleaners. No. Now, look at the Air Force. Look at that. They got all these airplanes. They talk about some of the innovations in the Air Force. And look at the dress uniforms of Air Force enlisted personnel. Did you decide you're going to the bar tonight in your dress uniform, or is that against the rules of the Air Force? You're not allowed to drink and wear your dress uniform? I think we should. Do you have to do your own dry cleaning, or does the Air Force? Because it has to be dry cleaned, doesn't it? Now, a lot of these, I had planned on getting one of those for myself. Yes. And the assets of the Air Force, exactly who owns those? Did you use taxpayer fund to purchase? Now, Could you get me all the members of the Airline Pilots Association? Yes. I'd just like to know every individual that's in that association. There's some union individuals in the Airline Pilots Association. I found out that in manufacturing of airplanes, the FAA has a lot to say about it. Yes. And there's an airlock. There's the outer air, the air in Kaizen. Yes. And then the airlock. Maybe you should use some airlocks for those that need to have some sort of spay or neutered before they have that relaxation therapy. You wouldn't want to just take them out thinking, oh my gosh, he needs to use a bathroom, maybe eat a sandwich, some chips, have a soda. What do you say that for every dog, yes, that had to be in the Air Force because of the top secret Air Force, why don't you put one of these on those locations where you're going to put those pods? I want them prehistoric, yes, but I like all the air where they defecate, urinate, or eat, yes, to be completely locked so that they don't bring it with them. Now, I know the airline pilots, just get me all of those that are airline pilots. You wouldn't be in the family. Oh my gosh, look at you. You're a pilot for a major corporation. I'm so happy for you. You got a lot of retirements. Ouch, the effects of air pollution. I'm not really. I looked at this airbrush for a real quick second. Yeah. How many women would rather, well, instead of having painted on their sexual nerve endings of the SPF 700, would rather have somebody spray painted on them? Ouch. We could use airbrushes instead of actual brushes. I wouldn't want you to be stimulated.